Evening all.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We have the return of Ian,
Hello, everyone.
Who assures us that the Loch Ness monster is real, and it's not.
It is real, yes. honest, it is.
Despite the evidence you've presented.
yeah. Contrary to your evidence.
Yes, well, it all has to be looked at, and we have to make up our own mind. But no, there could be a Loch Ness monster. So let's just let's leave that one at that, is it?
Right. If you lads can bluster for a second, I've just got to sort out the slideshow.
Well,
Okay.
Normally we start off with tales from the unexpected, and I haven't even opened it up. So
Do you want to do a bit of that? Do you want to chat about some more paranormal stories, boys?
I do, yeah. So, Tales of the Unexpected.
Unexplainedmysteries.com.
Oh, that's it. Unexplained Mysteries, yep. So, it would have been good if I'd loaded this up. As you can see, we are professionals.
Dom and Ian, that's in the side chat down the left. Unexplained Mysteries.
So, let's go to news. What's around here today? So, raptors didn't hunt in packs, new study finds. Trump comments on declassified UFO videos. Oh yeah, did you see the US Navy released some footage of UFOs?
No.
Last week.
Oh, was that the one that splashed into the water?
No, this is different. This is footage of a they're chasing an object, and it's about a minute long. So I was wondering if our guests have seen these videos as well. They're in shock. They're in awe. They're looking at this right now. They're thinking to themselves, I'm just going to speak on behalf of the guests. They're like, why now, in the midst of all the global happenings, which is a word that begins with disease and ends with demonetized, would they be releasing footage of the UFOs?
Dom, Ian, you there?
Yes.
Have you seen any of these happenings?
I've heard. Yeah, I've heard things have been declassified, and I've seen on. I think those Joe Rogan shows has a lot of these UFO guests on, and
Don't they call it the Disclosure Project or something like that? I think there was a name with it, like Disclosure Project.
That sounds about right. The Disclosure Project. Don't they have like a big conference once a year in America somewhere?
I seem to remember one of the speakers saying how he was abused as a child and taken into these UFO research things.
And they abused him there.
Well, probably. I get a feeling. I mean, again, it could be because I saw a film called Mysterious Skin.
Oh, that's what are they called? The military abductions. What do they call them?
I don't.
Military abductions.
Yeah,
they
that's
have a term for them, don't they? I can't remember.
Apart from that,
is it MIABs or something like that? I can't remember.
Military abductions. Yeah, that's.
Yeah. It was a weather balloon, wasn't it?
Swamp gas over Venus.
Every time. Them. Ball lightning.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Or Chinese lantern.
Yeah.
That insidious ball lightning swamp gas over Venus.
That's so common that you get everywhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, there was two bits of salient UFO news last week. One of them was 10 years ago, the Ministry of Defence declassified their UFO program and said it's ended. And they released the information to the public, which was available through the National Archives. And I assume because of public demand, they set up their own website for it. So it's no longer the National Archives. There's now a UK UFO thing, which is an official government ministry or government organisation, not a ministry. And if you want to know anything about UFO or UFO sightings, there's a government resource for you now. So make of that what you will.
Oh, I'll check it out.
Like a government MUFON then, is it?
Yeah. Here's one which looks interesting. Tom Cruise and NASA to film movie aboard the International Space Station.
To two movie organisations get together to make a movie.
Yeah, it's kind of like Warner Brothers and Paramount Pictures to make a film together.
So, Ian and Don, what are your opinions on space? Is it fake and gay?
No, I think it's there must be something out there. What it is, we don't know, but there's been lots of reports. And what happened in Rendlesham Forest? I want more information on that.
Yeah,
what happened in Rendlesham Forest?
You know the Rendlesham Forest incident, Hobbit?
Pretend I am I'm a clueless numpty.
Well, in Rendlesham Forest, there was an incident, Hobbit.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's my curiosity satisfied. Moving on.
It's the UK Area 51, isn't it?
Is it RAF Woodbridge? Is it?
Yeah. And some US soldiers, I think it was 1980, some US soldiers had an experience there that has now become the quite a famous case.
There were some lights, and then there was like a square. Was it a square robot with blinking lights on it or something? Was it?
I don't think they saw an alien visitor, but they did see alien craft. So they said. So. And it's
yeah,
not
you can even get the audio of the walkie-talkies and stuff like that, Hobbit.
Oh, okay. When you say a square robot with blinking lights, for some reason I'm thinking of those robots on the Smash advert.
Yeah, that's what they're after Rendlesham's mashed potato.
Instant mashed potato powder. Yeah, that's not bad stuff. You can. But if you've got like a stew or a soup and it's too thin, some potato powder in it, it's a good way of thickening it up. Mind you, I suppose you can just put potato in it.
And smash it up.
Yeah. I bought a packet and I thought to myself, I don't want to make mashed potato out of this. It's nasty. But it goes quite well in the stew.
Did you see this one, Hobbit? Britain's X-Files reveal top UFO hotspots.
I mean, I could, but I want to read a bit more about this Tom Cruise thing.
Go on then.
So it says, whilst they're playing... Sorry?
I was just thinking, surely Tom Cruise is going to state that L. Ron Hubbard created the International Space Station after this.
Well, this is why I'm going to read ahead.
Isn't he worried about getting invaded by Thetans at that sort of... if he's trying to escape Earth? Because Earth's a prison planet, isn't it, according to Scientologists?
According to Alex Jones as well, because there's prisonplanet.com. But, shall I read this article?
Go on then.
Yeah. So on Tuesday, NASA confirmed it would be working alongside veteran Hollywood actor Tom Cruise on a new movie, which is at least partially filmed aboard the ISS. The action-adventure will also involve SpaceX, suggesting that perhaps the private space firm will be providing transport to ferry equipment and or personnel to the orbiting outpost. Whether Cruise himself will be heading to the station as part of the filming, however, remains unclear. NASA is excited to work with Tom Cruise on a film aboard the space station, said NASA Administrator Jim Brindenstein.
Brindenstein.
His name's Brindenstein. It's not something I'm familiar with.
That's a bit weird.
We need popular media to inspire a new generation of engineers and scientists to make NASA's ambitious plans a reality. What ambitious plans? Last year, NASA confirmed that it would be working to enable private astronauts to fly to the ISS for up to 30 days at a time, something that is looking increasingly plausible now that the space agency is aiming to launch 2 astronauts from US soil aboard a Crew Dragon spacecraft later this month.
Does that mean we're going to see Joey Essex on the ISS?
I remember there was this cartoon ages ago about sending Myra Hindley to space. And it's like, Myra, can you tell us, is there anything you want? It's like, oh, yeah, it's all right here up in space, but I'd really like a kettle. So there was a story about launching a kettle to Myra Hindley in space.
What? Are you sure that was real, or was it a dream you had, Hobbit?
No, it was real. But the thing is, I kind of petered out because I thought to myself, no, this isn't the first time. There was like a Brass Eye episode called Peter Geddon where a notorious paedophile had been sent to a space station to serve out a sentence, but there was some clerical mistake and a boy was sent up with his food delivery. If commercial flights do become commonplace, it is certainly not outside the realms of possibility that Cruise himself could blast off to the ISS to film part of the movie in space. Whatever the case, it should certainly make for some interesting viewing. Citation needed.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Oh, here's something linking into Hollow Earth. A sinkhole swallows up everything in new video.
Everything.
Everything.
What? Everything?
Even light cannot escape this sinkhole. Oh, the caption says, fortunately, nobody was killed, but I'll read the rest of the article and you can come to your own conclusions because I don't like editorializing. Footage recently captured in Kenya shows the moment a sinkhole begins to swallow up everything in sight. The disturbing scene, which was filmed in it looks like Jericho, but starts with a K instead of a Jericho. It looks like Jericho, but with a K instead of a J.
Yeah.
So imagine how Jericho's Jericho on May the 1st shows the 1st of May shows the deadly and destructive power of a sinkhole as water, mud, and even large amounts of grass disappear into the ground. Various locals can be heard talking in the background, no doubt amazed at what they were seeing. Again, more editorializing. I'm going to read this without the sinkholes such as this have potential to be extraordinarily dangerous.
So
it's not difficult
reading out articles just makes me hate journalists.
Well, you're going to love this bit, right? This sentence is more brilliant. So the editorializing, but no actual proper editing of proofreading stuff. Sinkholes such as this have the potential to be extraordinarily dangerous. It's not difficult to image what might happen if a person was to venture too close. It's also fortunate that this did not happen in a crowded area or underneath someone's house. Sinkholes typically form when the surface sinks or collapses into cavities. Do you know, I could have made this entire article one sentence long. Here is a sinkhole in Jericho in Kenya, which happened on May the 1st. The same thing can also sometimes happen due to the presence of tunnels or mine shafts. Exactly what caused this particular sinkhole to form remains unclear. You can check out the footage for yourself below, and there's a video of it.
Well, if it consumed everything, then surely it's a singularity that.
Well, that's what I was saying. I mean, if you've got if it sort of swallows in everything, not even light can escape from it.
If it swallowed everything, then it would swallow Myra Hindley as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, on the space station.
Or a dead. Yes.
I'm reading the chat. My life, he says, Hobbit, have you tried powdered egg? And then underneath it, Flary Canary says, LSD does have that effect.
What, the same? What?
Oh, I don't know. I think I must have been reading back a bit when I was talking about powdered potato. And
yeah.
I don't think LSD can be used to thicken sauces. And if it does, you're using too much of it.
It's probably not a good idea.
I wouldn't advise using it as an ingredient in cooking.
As a coagulant.
No. Yeah. Seek medical advice.
Are we going to do the radio burst and then the UFOs and then crack on with the main part of the show?
Were you going to read the British X-Files one?
Yeah, I'll read that. You read the radio burst one.
Okay. All right, radio burst. Mystery radio burst picked up in our galaxy. No, you do the radio one. I want to rest my voice.
Okay then. You would do that after I've just opened the other one.
I know.
Fast radio bursts, which will last mere milliseconds, yet generate as much energy as the sun does in an entire day, have remained something of an enigma since their discovery back in 2007. Previous examples of these enigmatic phenomena have been detected in distant parts of the universe, but now astronomers using the Excuse me. Canadian Hydrogen Intensity Mapping Experiment, CHIME, radio's telescope,
Easy for you to say.
have found the first example originating from within our own galaxy. Not only that, but they believe they may have identified its source. The key lay in the detection of a series of gamma-ray bursts by an independent observatory that appeared to be coming from the same place as the newly detected fast radio burst. The point of origin, a type of neutron star known as a magnetar, due to its very strong magnetic field, is situated 30,000 light-years away and is known to produce periodic bursts of gamma rays. The only problem is nobody's ever observed fast radio bursts coming from objects like this before, and it remains unclear exactly what mechanism could be responsible for producing them. One possibility is that it could be due to what is known as star quakes, which occur when the intense gravity and magnetic field of the star build up tension that is suddenly released. As things stand, however, it's unclear if this is what produced the fast radio burst in the first place.
You know, it could be that, and that's a nice mundane explanation. Like, oh yeah, you know, stars, they have quakes and they eject things in pulses. But I've got an alternative theory which I think is more interesting. It's an alien device what is sending out beams of something for some reason, be it faster than light communication or let's go faster than light communication. That seems like a thing that costs a lot of energy. Or maybe it's just a beacon for the world, for their, not the world, but their civilization. Well, yeah, but I was thinking it could also be like a beacon, sort of a navigational beacon, like a lighthouse. So I'm going to say it's a space lighthouse. It's a navigation beacon for faster than light travel. There we go. Because when you're traveling faster than light, I got this theory that things would be very dark and hard to see. So if you've got this magnetar beacon, which is pulsing out, it doesn't pulse out like regularly, like a pulsar, though, does it? So,
So basically, this one. Go on then.
No, I'm doing speculation here. You see, over if it's an artificial object.
Is it possible to tell? Do you think? Or?
Well, that's the thing, we can't say. And when we have seen things that look like artificial objects, the astrophysicists seem very happy to explain it all away. I mean, do you remember that story a few years back about, but there's this star and its light output keeps varying?
Do you want to hear a highly inappropriate joke about Myra Hindley from Silly as Sodus?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Myra Hindley was walking through the moors at night with a kid. The kid said, "Christ, this is spooky." Hindley replies, "How do you think I feel? I have to fucking walk back by myself."
Yeah.
That's wrong. That is wrong on so many levels.
I've heard it before, but not with Myra Hindley as the... Because... I know a number of jokes like that, which I don't want to repeat on air.
Oh dear!
You might get demonetized again if you do.
Yeah. We'd lose out on all that money. I was going to say we were going to be sponsored by somebody, but I can't remember who I was going to shill. But
I'm sponsored by Badger Brewery tonight because I got 2 bottles of drinks, Tanglefoot.
Oh yeah.
I'm sponsored by Heineken. Heineken for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to say I'm sponsored by Carling, but I haven't cracked open one yet.
So anyway, RAF have been investigating UFOs for years till 2009. The decision was made to wind down on the basis there's no evidence of a credible threat against the country. Now, following a Freedom of Information request, the first set of data has been revealed. So, the data lists the top 10 UFO areas in 2009 is London with 54 sightings, Kent with 30, Lancashire 24, Derbyshire 22, Essex 22, Stafford 19, Swansea 18, Warwickshire 17, Surrey 16, Norfolk 15.
So all the places with airports.
Airports or bases, because Essex has got a few bases, hasn't it?
Yeah.
They're not really interested in the north, are they?
No one is though, are they?
Lancashire,
No.
Lancashire and Derbyshire they go up to, but not further.
There's a lot of sightings at Heathrow as well. Around the Heathrow area, they have a lot of UFO sightings there.
Would that be Heathrow and Gatwick then, would it?
Not Gatwick now, no. They got down the plug hole now, haven't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's in Kent? Is it an airport in Kent, or is it or is there an army base there?
Kent Airport. No, that doesn't sound familiar. Probably an army base. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it could be a UFO base where they actually land. I think Rendlesham is Rendlesham.
Rendlesham.
No, I think
is it Norfolk or Suffolk?
Yeah, I think it's Norfolk actually.
It's
but not
Ipswich, isn't it? It's near Ipswich, isn't it? So it's Norfolk, I think.
RAF Kentish man.
So there's that. So in that year, the final year the RAF was collecting data, there were 626 sightings in total. So that was just the top 10, so that wasn't all of them. The figures are particularly interesting because they're based on reports from reputable sources such as air traffic controllers, pilots and police officers rather than random members of the public.
Oh, fair enough.
And there'll also be unreported sightings as well, so that figure's more likely to be towards 1,000.
Yeah.
Because people are embarrassed to say they said that, aren't they? They don't want to make a fool of themselves and lose their job. So
well, that's what I say about UFO sightings. I mean, say only 0.01% are real. That's still quite a heck of a number because there are quite a few sightings a year, aren't they, of UFOs?
Of planes. I mean UFOs. Yeah, there's quite a few.
I mean, Adam keeps saying that it's a conspiracy to distract from military aircraft, which, yes, a lot of that is true, especially with things like the B-2, the B-117, and other objects which we don't have names for, like the Aurora bomber. However, it's still, the fact is there are some objects in the sky which aren't of human origin.
The stealth bomber is responsible for some sightings. It's like that triangular-shaped plane, with the 3 lights on the bottom.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one? Yeah, that's... People have reported UFOs which look exactly like that, so...
Pete's looking forward to the Mothman because he said the Mothman ruined several of our best shirts and 2 jumpers.
that's that gag. That's that gag buggered then, isn't it?
Oh no! Was that on your list, was it? Oh no! There we go. That's it. You've just ruined Ian's script.
Right, that's it. Show's over. Thank you very much, audience.
Yeah.
You've only got yourselves to blame.
Kick him out.
What is fixed nitrogen, Hobbit?
Fixed nitrogen?
Yeah, found inside Martian meteorite. You seen this story?
It's probably in the mineral form. Let's have a look, shall I?
It's found in oil, I think.
Fixed nitrogen found inside Martian meteorite. For the first time ever, organic compounds containing nitrogen been found inside a meteorite from Mars. Discovered in Antarctica's Allen Hills more than 35 years ago, the meteorite, which is known today as a big number, dates back 4 billion years to a time when Mars is very different from how it is today. You've probably heard of this particular meteorite before. Back in the 1990s, a team of scientists controversially claimed to have identified microscopic fossilized bacteria contained within it. The discovery became headline news worldwide. Whilst since been downplayed as inconclusive, the research played a key role in advancing the field of astrobiology. Now, more than 20 years later, I do remember this. Yeah, they poured water on it to see if anything would grow. Scientists analysing the meteorite discovered evidence of fixed nitrogen, a strong indication that Mars may have once been home to the ingredients. Right, I think that what they're meaning is that in our soil, we've got bacteria and rhizomes, which are a type of root. Fungus? A rhizome is a symbiotic fungus which attaches onto the roots of plants, and the plants give the fungus sugars, and the fungus in turn gives the plant minerals, so it's a symbiotic relationship. Nitrogen-fixing bacteria are the ones which take atmospheric nitrogen and they fix it into nitrates in the soil. So it's one of those things you need in order to have actual soil as opposed to just dirt, which is not going to grow life. So what they're saying.
I just
home
noticed it was Atsuko Kobayashi. Did he invent the Kobayashi Naruto scenario?
The Kobayashi Maru maneuver. Early in the solar system's history, Mars was likely showered with significant amounts of organic matter. For example, carbon-rich meteorites, comets, and dust particles, said Atsuko Kobayashi from Tokyo. Yeah, Maru. From the Tokyo Institute of Technology. Some of them may have dissolved in the brine and been trapped inside the carbonates. What remains unclear how these organic compounds may have arisen, their presence represents some of the strongest evidence yet of the past habitability of the red planet. Whatever the origin, the presence of organic and reduced nitrogen on early middle Noachian Mars indicates the importance of a Martian nitrogen cycle. I reckon there was life on Mars.
It was like a worm they discovered, wasn't it, in a rock? Was that the same one? A little. It was microscopic, but it was a living organ, like a
nematode worm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they discovered.
But the thing is, I mean, when Wikipedia sort of says, "Oh, it's bollocks," then that's when I know it's true. Like with Snopes, there's this thing called pattern recognition, where there's a special term for it, probably a Greek word, and they're saying, like, you know, how humans are good at recognizing patterns, and that's why you can see faces in clouds. And the top image they use as a reference on this Wikipedia article is the face on Mars. Is it Cyrene? I think it's called Cyrene.
That photo has been touched up, though. It's the face of Elvis, isn't it? I think it looks like Elvis, the face on Mars.
The funny thing is, one of my favorite games as a kid was called Tyrion. And in the asteroid levels, there was the same depiction of the face on Mars, and you could shoot it and blow it up for points.
I prefer the face of Jesus in toast. You can see that.
Or the Virgin Mary on a tortilla.
You can get programmable toasters where they'll heat up in a dot matrix pattern, so you can print any image you want on toast.
I like that Jesus with his arms out and everything on a dog's arse. That's quite a good one.
I haven't seen that one.
I've seen Jesus' face in a dog's arse.
I think Dom's realised the level of the show, and he's going for it.
As you know, we're a very serious and highbrow paranormal investigation show, and we appreciate these sorts of jokes. Especially after the true crime episodes.
Yeah, they were a bit dark. We're gonna do Fred West at some point, I think, because it's quite interesting. You guys ever heard that bit from Fred West in Confessions, where he's talking about the ghosts? Yeah,
the ghosts of he buried his daughters and he could feel the ghosts coming through the ground as he was looking for them with the police. And this is what he was telling the police.
Yeah.
He was a crazy man.
Just about.
Yeah. Right then, so should we get into some content? I'll just need to do a screen share.
I was going to say we've only done half an hour of warm-up, but as Ian and Ian's mate Dom's on, we've probably got a bit more content.
Right, so I'm sharing the window. Can everyone see that now?
That's good.
Yeah.
I can see your OBS as well.
Yeah, because I'm sharing my OBS window because it's the easiest way to do it.
Oh, okay. What does it look like on YouTube? Oh, no, that's fine. You don't see the OBS.
No, they won't. They'll just see it direct.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Right, so take it away then, Ian. All yours.
Right, okay. So tonight then, what we'll cover is the mystery of the Mothman. And then at the end, we'll just do a little bit on the Cornish Aleman, which is like the British Mothman, if you like. And Cornwall's a nice place as well, so we can cover that one. So I explained the unexplained last time, and so tonight we have a case that even I can't explain. So let's start on this then.
Right, just let me know when you want me to put the next slide on.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
The lights bobbed away from the building, and the startled Fortean saw They were attached to some huge animal. It was shaped like a man, but bigger, Roger said later, maybe 6.5 or 7 feet tall, and it had wings folded against its back. But it was those eyes that got us, Linda declared. It had 2 big eyes like automobile reflectors. They were hypnotic, Roger continued. For a minute, we could only stare at it. I could not take my eyes off it. It was greyish in colour and walked on sturdy man-like legs. It turned slowly and shuffled towards the door of the generator plant, which was ajar and hanging off its hinges. Let's get out of here, Steve yelled. Roger stepped on the gas, and they shot through the gates, spun onto the exit road, and headed for Route 62. Suddenly they saw it, or another one like it, standing on a small hill near the road. As they hurtled past it, it spread its bat-like wings and took off straight up into the air. Mothman. He'll shit you up. So let's go to slide 2.
Yeah.
So in the 60s, a number of sightings of a large flying creature with glowing red eyes were reported in the Point Pleasant area of West Virginia. The flying entity was known as the Mothman. So Mothman, we got here, one of the lesser-known cryptids. So everyone has heard of Bigfoot, for instance, even if you're not really interested in cryptozoology, and you think it's probably a load of nonsense. Whereas anyone who has an interest in this subject would probably come across this case. So if you read a book on it or the like, you're going to encounter Mothman. So your man on the street, your everyday Joe, he wouldn't have heard of Mothman. Idiot. So let's look at the... that's not the right slide there. Let's go to the first sighting. Yes.
Oh, these.
You want slide?
I think I might have.
Yeah.
I think this goes the
Screwed
other way.
it up.
Hold on, let's have a look.
Yeah, so we should have another
For some
slide.
reason it goes the wrong way. So is that the slide you wanted?
No, it's not. It's
No, it's all in the wrong order then. This is going to be fun.
Okay, well, I labelled them slide number, so go to slide number 2.
Right, let's have a look.
So anyway, while you're doing that, we'll look at the first sighting. So that was on November the 12th, 1966. 5 men were digging a grave in a cemetery near Clendion, West Virginia. They reported a man-like creature flying low over the trees. Not much more details to this sighting, but it's regarded as the first. So still haven't got that slide, have you?
I'll be there in a second. This is
yeah, no worries. Take your time.
It's
Okay.
cocking me up.
It's doing your head in. So
It's doing me nutting.
Just
So anyway.
imagine Herbie Hancock's hold music whilst we deal with the technical issues.
yeah, I continue with the case anyway. So anyway, the first sighting was it was 5 grave diggers that saw the creature. So would you believe what a grave digger says? Anyone? Someone in that line of work? Yeah.
I don't know. They're usually an alcoholic if you watch the films, aren't they?
Or Peter Sutcliffe, of course. He was a grave digger.
Yeah. Good lad.
Oh, he
Yes.
was man.
Is that number 2? This is.
No.
Yes, I'm opening the wrong.
No, I'm
folder,
covering that
for
at the-
God's sake.
No, it's the right folder. It's the right folder because I'm going to use those slides too. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I've got them in. I've got them in number order.
For
so.
some reason, it's absolutely decided it's in no way gonna play these files in order.
anyway.
You know what? We can get conspiratorial here. The Mothman does not want to be revealed, and therefore has messed up the order of the slideshows.
Yeah.
Well, he is a harbinger of doom. So if there's anyone seen the Mothman today, then that's this is probably what he's done. Yeah. Anyway, okay, we'll carry on. So yeah, Peter Sutcliffe, he was a grave digger. So so there you go, the sort of person that does that job. And I was going to say we could cover that case in the future, but I notice you've done it already. So anyway, that would be.
I've got it. I've
You
figured.
got it.
Yeah,
All right.
that's it. What slide do you want me on?
Number 2.
Number 2. I think that is number 2.
Yeah, we can see. There we go. There he is.
Yeah.
I've got to point out though that's not a photo, so that's actually a drawing. So if you So but there we go. That's what they saw. That's what the couple saw there. That's the Mothman. That's me. Cool. So that's the first sighting. What do you make of that? Believe it? What did they see? A big
It
bird?
looks like winged Bigfoot, doesn't he?
It's hairy.
It is,
That description does.
And those kids must have been bricking themselves that night, seeing that. Looks like it could be a demon as well, some form of demon in the area.
Looks a bit demonic, doesn't it?
Yes, I wouldn't want to encounter that of an
I
evening.
mean, it's the glowing red eyes. They're a dead giveaway.
Well, it's common with cryptids that the glowing red eyes have been reported on Bigfoot.
Are they actually glowing, or are they just reflecting back as red?
It's hard to say, as we need a specimen to find out what they're made of. But maybe glowing like a cat's eyes would glow, something like that.
Yeah.
But as I said, Bigfoot has been reported with it. The black dogs of the UK, the owl man of the UK,
Black Shuck.
the red eyes, Black Shuck. Who's he?
That's
It rings a bell, but I'm not.
That's one of the dogs, one of the black dogs. I think he's the he's either the Norfolk or Suffolk version of it.
Mm. Yeah, there's quite a few around. Conan Doyle based the Hound of the Baskervilles on such a legend as well. Though his dog didn't turn out to be supernatural though, so it was someone mucking about in the end. But yeah, so that's the first sighting too. So we'll go over to Dom if we can get slide 3 up, and he'll run us through some further evidence.
Okay, have we got slide 3 here?
I think the slides are coming slowly, Dom. So we may as well. There's a bit of an issue with the slides.
It's up already.
Yeah. Oh yeah, cool.
If you do the screen share, in Jitsi rather than watching the YouTube, it'll come up quicker.
Yeah. Okay, well, anyway, on November the 15th, 1966, 2 young couples from Point Pleasant, Roger and Linda Scarberry and Steve and Mary Millette, saw a large grey creature with glowing red eyes in their car headlights. They described a large flying man with 10-foot wings. They said it followed their car in an area outside of town known as the TNT area, which was the site of a former World War II munitions plant. Roger said that the car was doing 100 miles per hour and the bird kept up with them without flapping its wings. The creature followed them to the edge of town. The group also said they saw a dead dog by the side of the road, but when they returned a few minutes later, the dog was gone. Okay, so if we go to slide 4.
So he liked to eat dogs. So he's like in Korea.
Yeah,
That looks a bit like the screen.
No, he could be Chinese.
Mm. They do it as well, do they? I thought the Koreans are famous for it.
Oh, that is true. Yeah.
You need to go the other way. You're back on 2.
This thing's just absolutely giving me some grief today. 4, so that should be
slide 4.
But Hemi, you're not allowed to use the G word.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to, am I? Right, so let's try this. Yeah, it's just absolutely.
We can use the G word. It's just that Aussie guy. We can't have him on again, hey?
Yeah, it's the Catboy Cammy. That's the one we can't have on again.
But Hemi, you're not allowed to say the word grief. You've got to take it out your mouth.
Yeah. Right, so
slide 4.
These slides are just absolutely giving me some hassle.
I did ask you yesterday if I could control the slides.
Yeah, it would have been better, wouldn't it? Hold on a sec. I can. Image.
So anyway, what do we think so far? Are they convincing? Is it convincing evidence thus far? 2 sightings by 6 couples.
I mean, more evidence needed.
Yeah.
Possible.
But what were they doing? What were they doing driving to an out-of-town wooded area 6 couples in their cars.
And
Oh,
going at 100 miles an hour as well, admitting they broke the law.
There's a little bit of the slide. There we go. Off you go, Dom.
Yeah, got
This
it.
is
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, there it is. We've waited all this time for slide 4. What a shit it is.
looks like a 3-year-old's done it.
Yeah. Basically. Well, maybe he was scared when he drew it. I don't know.
You could put.
Sorry. Anyway, these sightings, they took place in the TNT area, which is a military base, which kind of connects the Mothman with the military. So, is it possible it's kind of some sort of mutant experiment, or was it, there was a couple of couples there? Was it a dog
Exactly.
there? Was Stan Collymore the Mothman? We just don't know. We can see a slide of the TNT area, hopefully.
Yeah, if we get slide 5.
Slide 5. Yeah, I can do
So-
this.
No,
So
so when you say about the TNT area, no, there's something else you mentioned which just thought, aha.
Military base,
I have-
TNT.
No, it's not exactly that. It was more the case of I've seen there's been like some strange creatures washing up on the shores next to a biocontainment facility or biowarfare lab, as it's also known.
Well,
So now I'm more inclined to believe this.
yeah. Although it's I've actually seen a YouTube video of some people that go to this TNT site, and it was a munition storage, and they've got like a few these big sort of concrete domes that were just piled with munitions. And these kids go there and they look around, and there's basically loads of crudely drawn cocks and graffitied everywhere, and other ones that say Mothman on them.
It's good to see
Mothman is bent, things like that.
Mothman do one.
Maybe Hate Speech says maybe the Mothman is a dogger.
It does point to that at this stage.
Yeah.
If you say you've seen the Mothman, that means you've been dogging.
I mean, maybe those red eyes are kind of like surveillance equipment of some kind.
Or maybe Mothman was the one that looked through the car window whilst pleasuring himself.
Yeah.
I've been watching a fair bit of James Bond recently, and I think it was Diamonds Are Forever, or no, it was the first one, and there was just these creatures like the dragon, but it's a car with a flamethrower.
Yeah, it was like a tank, wasn't it? Like a tank
that's it.
type thing, and the locals thought it was a dragon. So
Seems sensible enough.
Dr. No.
That's the one, Dr. No.
Dr. No vocal cords. So there we are, the TNT area. It's looking good, isn't it? Looking good.
Yeah.
Doesn't exist anymore. It's just remains. And
Did it get blown up?
I think there were cutbacks in the military, so they shut that one and just let it go to pot.
So threw a
But
match
there's
in the factory.
Yeah, there's still stuff there, like the pods or something where they kept the ammunition.
Yeah, those were the concrete bunkers.
Yeah. Cool. So there we go. That's it there. As you can see, it's an old picture because these days there's nothing there except Mothman. So, all right then. So let's go to the next slide and
Maybe
look at
they
some
should
more
have
evidence.
mothballed it.
Yeah.
See what it did.
Them's jokes, them is.
But it sounds like a shit superhero, Mothman, isn't it? He was
Yeah.
bitten by a radioactive moth.
Well, there was the Batman villain, the Killer Moth, wasn't there?
Yeah, could have been based on this case.
Yeah.
Well, there was Arthur who was the tick side man. He was like a moth.
He was a
Yeah.
moth, wasn't he?
Wasn't the moth one of the characters in Watchmen?
Yeah, he was the one that went insane actually and was dragged away.
Yeah.
Oh wait, was it a moth or was it an owl?
No, it's Moth.
Oh.
Owlman was
No,
someone else.
No,
Um,
no, that was
Okay.
Night Owl. He's the other guy.
actually,
Yeah,
the
that's
Killer
it.
Moth predates this. The Killer Moth was first appeared in Batman 63, 1951.
I've never heard of it.
So maybe these people were all avid Batman readers.
Yeah. A skeptic
Batman was-
would have you believe that, wouldn't they?
But that's how that's how he got his name, because Batman, the camp Batman, was popular on TV at the time, and it was so they coined the name Mothman. Yeah, so that's where it came from.
I mean, these days we would call it Moth Person.
Yeah, you wouldn't want.
He has the power.
You wouldn't want to misgender pronoun him, would you?
Yeah, or we call it People of Moth.
Yeah, but if he's
Moth.
if he's mixed species, isn't person insulting?
Very cryptid phobic of you, Hobbit.
I know.
His superpower is the ability to eat your clothes.
Yeah.
Like that guy said earlier in chat and spoilt it. But there we go.
Just took your joke, killed it.
Yeah. Nicking my material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
it's
good
not-
content, that is.
Yeah.
You can't just have the audience just wasting it all. Audience, wait your turn.
Yeah. Audience, know your limits.
all 24 of you.
Yeah.
So
It
Not
makes
so
me
many
laugh
views.
because yesterday we were watching Harry Enfield's Know Your Limits.
Women, know your limits.
Look, listen, and take heed.
anyway, shall we go on to the next part? There we go. There we have Mothman there stood, and if you look in the top right-hand corner of the picture, you can see a size scale with the Mothman there stood next to a regular man. So it
So what
shows
is he,
you
about
what kind of.
7 foot to the top of his wings, is he?
Yeah, I would think so. He's not, for a cryptid, he's not that, he's not that tall. He's about 5 foot tall, they say. So, other cryptids tend to be bigger than that, but
Wait,
it's still a fair size.
He's got a fly using them wings, so you wouldn't want him to be. He wouldn't want to be a big heifer, would he?
No. And we'll cover that in a bit. But, all right, let's go on to the next phase of this. So,
Next slide, Jack.
over the next. Let's keep it on this one. Keep it on this one. Yeah. So over the next few days after these initial sightings we've just covered, 2 firemen saw a large bird with glowing red eyes. So firemen they're quite reliable people, aren't they? So do you believe them?
Because some of this
Then
seems
a
a bit like the Thunderbird, doesn't it? You know, the Thunderbird from Indian myth, or I stepped on.
I know the drink Thunderbird.
No, the Thunderbird is it's like a Indian legend, like a Native American legend, and it's like this huge bird, absolutely massive bird.
Yeah, and like there are some pictures, and they're like American Civil War type pictures taken in that period, cowboys, that kind of thing, holding up like big birds. There's a few of them, pterodactyls as well. So it'd be worth checking out those photos if you've got a minute and just seeing what you think. But So anyway, let's move. So I'll go on to the next encounter. So a contractor, Newell Partridge, said he saw the creature when he shone a flashlight at it, and its eyes glowed like bicycle reflectors. Another case that the same guy encountered, he blamed buzzing noises coming in from his TV on the creature. So maybe he was watching a nature program on bees or something like that. But he blamed those buzzing noises on the Mothman. But he also blamed the disappearance of his German Shepherd dog on the creature. And we've covered earlier that the earlier case that we covered, there was a dead dog on the road, so he could have had this one as well. So he likes a bit of dog for his lunch.
Chinese confirmed then.
Well, Korean.
Chinese, Korean, same difference, really.
It's just a
That's
Korean immigrant with a hang glider. We've solved it. We've solved another one, Ian.
We can do, but if we carry on like this, we'll get demonetized again.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the next case.
I was looking forward to my share of 4p.
Yeah. So anyway, on November the 16th, 1966, Marcella Bennett, her brother, and his wife were bringing their 2-year-old daughter to visit relatives who lived near the TNT area. The family had read reports of the Mothman in the newspaper, but just made light of it.
Are we on the newspaper slide?
No, they keep it. So this is just a bit of something to look at whilst I crap on. So after their visit to their relatives, about 9 p.m., they left their relative's house to begin their journey home. It was then they spotted some strange lights in the sky hovering above the trees. Suddenly, they spotted a creature in the darkness behind their parked car. So you've got UFO as well. You've got UFO there as well. So Mothman may be an alien. We don't know yet. We'll find out. They described the creature as having man's legs covered with grey feathers, wings that were drawn down towards its body, and the head tilted sideways. It looked like a bird, but it was too big to be a bird. The creature was over 6 foot tall. No red eyes were observed on this occasion. So the family then retreated into the house and locked the doors and called the police. The creature then shuffled onto the porch and pushed the door and peered through the windows. The police arrived about 20 minutes later, by which time the Mothman had gone. So he was trying to get into the house there.
He probably saw
That's
the
a bit
lights
of a-
were on. But
Yeah. So the lights were on and no one was home, so he thought he'd try and get in.
yeah.
But yeah, that's quite a close encounter there, isn't it? That's not something there that you can mistake. You know, if it was something at distance, then it could be something normal. But when you're that close to the creature, then obviously, what could it be? Someone mucking about, mistaken identity, or the actual Mothman? What do we think?
It's hard to say,
Inconclusive.
because it could be like kids messing around, couldn't it?
Oh, hate speech says it was more doggers.
Yeah.
It could be the West Virginian police. They released this rumor and just blamed all the crimes on the Mothman, so they didn't have to really deal with them.
13%
This
of the
theory
Mothman
sounds
do 50%
plausible.
of the crime.
Right. So Dom, over to you for the next phase. If we can just have the next slide.
Yeah.
I've had one too much Heineken. I'll be back in a minute.
Well, yeah.
Heineken the other day. It's good stuff.
I got a bit of Heineken.
Apparently, Mads Mikkelsen killed the head of Heineken for some reason, according to an advert.
Oh, yeah. He shot that bloke, didn't he, in the thing? Oh, it was
Anyway,
Jeff. It said it could have been Jeff Goldblum out for a stroll. Someone in chat.
I've been told on the Minecraft chat that Mothman protected Mothman City from the Croaker. Okay. I just now I've said it. I get it.
I don't get it. The Croaker.
Mothman City is like no, sorry, not Mothman City, Motham City.
I don't get the Croaker though.
Croaker. Yeah, Yeet Hitchens, explain yourself.
Yeah. Your joke doesn't scan, mate.
Is this a
He's back.
Minecraft reference?
I don't know. He says Croaker is the Joker, but I'm just like, yeah, okay. So you got Motham City and Gotham City. You got Mothman and Batman. But I was thinking,
Croak doesn't fit. Is it because frogs
he's
eat moths?
well, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, because I'll go. Let's go with that then, because I'm thinking, what do bats eat and what do bats get predated upon?
Celia Sonner said he squashed one of his mates last year because he kept flying into the telly. He still left a mark on the wallpaper.
The evolution of moths has really gone badly since we invented light bulbs, hasn't it? You know,
Yeah, yeah.
that's or Tesla. They're to blame for moths not eating more of our clothes.
You know,
Oh,
I keep
well,
wondering with the moths, like when you squash them and it's just dust. I mean,
Yeah.
instead of a blood system, do they just have dust circulating around? I mean, if you think about it, what is it that they feed on? With butterflies, you can understand they feed on nectar, and my understanding with butterflies is that they get most of their eating done in the caterpillar stage. But with moths, it's just
Pringle sweaters. They like that.
So if someone had punched the Mothman, do you reckon he'd just puff into a load of dust?
Has anyone ever racked up a line of like moth dust and snorted it? I mean.
Oh, I got a sneeze. Excuse me.
Hobbit's just done it.
You've been snorting moths. Yeah.
You've been snorting moths, Hobbit.
Oh, that's better.
It makes people sneeze, I see. Anyway,
Just a mere thought of snorting a line of moth dust has made me sneeze.
Well, can I crack on with the story?
Yeah, go.
Yeah, before those idiots start clapping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no!
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, okay. So, not all sightings of the Mothman took place in the TNT area.
No.
No, they didn't.
Dramatic pause. On the 20th of November, 1966, a bird-like creature, which was about 4 feet tall with red half-moons underneath its eyes, was spotted landing on a bus shelter in Dixie, West Virginia. I mean, that's a bit of a stretch, but it could be a reason to freak people out,
Maybe he wanted to piss. That's where I go, wouldn't it?
What do they mean, half-moon spectacles?
No. Or just like me on a Saturday morning. Yeah, but on the same night, six teenagers claimed to have seen a grey man-sized creature with red eyes at Campbell's Creek, West Virginia. And again on the same night, 5 teenagers driving along Campbell's Creek had the shock of their lives when they saw a man-sized bird-like creature standing beside a quarry. Now, this goes on. I mean, suddenly the sightings get a bit crazy here.
Picks up a bit here after the initial sighting. That's when everyone gets the same idea.
Yeah.
Bombarded.
On the 24th of November, I mean, we started... Where did we start here? Hang on. We were only started on the 20th of November. So by the 24th of November, 1966, 2 adults, 2 children were driving past the TNT area, saw a giant flying creature with red eyes. 25th of November, 7:15 a.m., a man named Thomas Urey was driving along Route 62 or route or whatever when he noticed a tall, grey, man-like figure standing in a field. Creature suddenly spread a pair of wings and took off straight up like a helicopter. He put his foot on the gas and said the creature kept flying over his car. He was so scared that he couldn't go to work that day. That's how I feel most days. On the evening of 26th of November, Ruth Foster of Charleston, West Virginia, found Mothman standing on her lawn. She was one of the few witnesses to see Mothman's face. She described it as having no beak and big red eyes. On the morning of 27th of November, a winged phantom pursued a woman on a golf course in Madison, West Virginia. That evening, 2 girls spotted a grey creature with big red eyes standing next to a junkyard. They screamed and ran home. It flew up and followed the girls part of the way. I mean, yeah, that's like a week in November. That's a lot.
It is, and the sightings picked up thick and fast. And he didn't just stick to the TNT area; he was all over the place. Quarries, junkyards. Yeah, he got about a bit.
I mean, I could go on. I'll go on into December, but why do you think it happened so fast?
It's hard to say, isn't it? And are all these people lying or mistaken?
Yeah,
As if they're not.
A mass hysteria thing, maybe?
That does tend to happen.
Yeah. Anyway, on December the 6th, 1966, 2 adults witnessed a giant man-like figure with glowing red eyes. December the 7th, a brownish silver man-shaped flying object with glowing red eyes was reported on Route 33 Ohio. And that was flying.
Oh, what
On
slide
December
are we supposed
8th,
to be on? We're still on the...
Yeah, keep it this one.
Yeah.
We'll prompt you for the next year.
we're on
Okay,
the
yeah.
news. This is like all the news shit. On December 8th, 2 women reported a shadowy figure on a hilltop with glowing red eyes on Route 35, West Virginia. December 11th, a man and young son spotted a grey man-shaped figure flying at great speed overhead in the TNT area. And yeah, so obviously the press just absolutely exploded there with the story.
Yes, it was quite popular at the time. Obviously, the Vietnam War was going on at the time, and this would be a nice bit of something else to read about in the newspapers. So, and here we have all the various clippings, isn't it? So with that number of sightings, obviously there must be something happening. As I said, they can't all be lying or mistaken. So is the Mothman real?
It's just hysteria.
Do you ever get a feeling? I mean, Hemi and I briefly touched on the subject of tulpas the other day, and I get a feeling like once there's one story of a creature about, it starts becoming real in people's minds. And what I don't mean just like, oh, they're imagining it. I mean as in like real as in their minds, and their imagination is doing something there, which I think is worth further investigation. So do you think like the more sightings there is, the more people see it? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Or people will see something, but if they know about the creature, then they're more likely to say that's what it was. So they could see a big bird in the sky and think, "Oh, look, it's the Mothman there. That's what it has to be." But
this is what I'm thinking. It might be like a false positive where they saw an unusual creature, but it wasn't Mothman. And the reason I say that is because have you ever heard of dazzle camouflage? It was something that was popular in World War One and Two, I think.
some form of camouflage, but I'm not sure what type.
So in World War One, they were experimenting with warships and using dazzle camouflage, where they use these asymmetric patterns and paint them bright colours as well. And they found that when they were doing this, the sailors, the watchmen, yeah, I think it is called, no, it's a watch officer, that's it, but watchmen, when they were looking at these, when these brightly painted asymmetrical ones came about, they didn't even spot them. So even though there was like obviously an object there, they're so used to what a ship looks like that they just they didn't see it through their binoculars. And so I'm wondering that for example, is so
Sounds
I'm trying
like
to link that.
Sounds like the Philadelphia experiment.
Oh no! I didn't mean to make that analogy. What I meant to say is, I'm trying to say in this case, because they hadn't seen something like that before with the dazzle armor, it was they didn't even register that. Oh, didn't you see that warship that went past? The one that was brightly coloured and had all the zebra stripes on it. So what I'm thinking is this is the opposite of dazzle armor, in that one person sees a Mothman, and then there's another cryptid about, or an unusual creature of some sort, which isn't a cryptid. But then it becomes a false positive. So there's like, oh yeah, I saw the Mothman as well. It definitely was the Mothman. It had red glowing eyes.
So it's a fault in like human perception, the way we've evolved, basically.
Well, I'm thinking it's like it's a collective consciousness sort of thing. So mass hysteria is one name for it, but I'm thinking it's a case of like when more than one person sees it, it becomes more real, if that makes sense. I'm saying that it's our perceptions.
Yeah, it's like a suggestion and recall, and how our memories are so bad, and and as like witnesses in police reports and stuff, witnesses are just terrible because they just the power of suggestion bleeds into their memory. I think it's basically that kind of thing.
I mean, Darren Brown did this same sort of thing. Because these days you think to yourself, oh yeah, if I saw a warship that was brightly coloured, I'd still be able to see that's a warship. I'd be able to see its gun turrets and the other weapons on its body. But if you want to modern it,
sounds like the Somebody Else's Problem Field from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Do you remember that one?
But so here's the thing: if you want a modern example of dazzle armor, Darren Brown, that's his name. He did a thing where he was talking to people, and he says, "Oh yeah, I want you to look at this video, and I want you to look out for this, this, and this." And so they're watching the video, and they didn't notice. Didn't you notice the gorilla on the unicycle juggling? What? You weren't paying. You weren't paying attention to it.
I saw that one.
I've seen
it.
That.
It was good. Also, he did one.
It attacks certain types of people. I think there's certain types that always see the gorilla and certain types that don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did this one. He did this one, Darren Brown, and he was with someone on the program, and he said, "I want you to think of an object." So I thought at home, I'll play this as well, and so I thought of an object, and I thought, well, a cat. I thought of a cow. And I thought, well, he'll never get that, will he? And he did. What I was thinking of, he told me. He said, "Right, you're thinking of a cow, aren't you?" I was like, "Shit!" So something had happened in the build-up to that made people think cow. It was pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah. So you put in the suggestion to think of a cow, and you didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, there must have been something, because I thought, well, I'll play this game as well with him, and I thought, right, a cow. He'll never say that. There's billions of words. You could say anything. I'm going to say cow. And that's what he said. He said, "Yeah, you're thinking of a cow, aren't you?"
Well, I can tell you, English is the most verbose of all the languages, and we've got, I think it's 500,000 unique words in our language. A lot of them, though, are for like molecules. But the thing is, I'm glad you talk about this, because NLP and the power of suggestion is something which is worth. Sorry for the diversion, but I did think it was pertinent to this. But so often I've seen with like presentations of cryptids, no one ever even talks about these, what I would say is a tangential subject.
I think most people want to see a monster, though, don't they? That's what excites people. So that's why cryptids are. Yeah, you've got ESP and that. I'd looked into ESP, but to be honest, I found it a bit boring. Right? And I just wanted to see an unknown creature. Was my thing.
My granddad was tested for ESP, but he sort of plays down the thing. I mean, the RAF were looking for people who could sort out the signal from noise in Amy's Type 1 radar or CH radar, as it's called. And he says, "Oh, you had to have very good eyesight for it." I was like, "Yeah, but was it just about eyesight?" Eventually sort of got, it's like, no, you did need to be able to process signal from noise in your head without a computer. How did you do that? He says, "Oh, I just had a knack for it."
Some people are born that way.
Yeah,
I did try staring at goats, but they didn't do anything. And to be honest, I wasn't really sure what to expect anyway. So I guess that was a failed experiment.
I've tried staring at women before. That makes them uncomfortable. Sorry about that. We could go back to talking about cryptids. I just thought to myself, it's worth thinking if there's like some sort of parasuggestion going on here.
That has something to do with it, obviously. But anyway.
Are there any women actually tuned in?
No, we don't allow them.
No.
We don't want to cause hysteria.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we don't want any fainting flaps. You know, like the Japanese have, don't they? They have like the hysteria flaps, don't they? Where the girls in a school all go mental at once, don't they?
And they have it in North Korea as well, when they go crazy when they see the guy with the funny haircut.
Yeah.
And, dear leader.
Yeah.
His lockdown haircut.
Anyhow, shall we go on to the next slide? Let's have a look at the next slide, slide 8. So let's have a look at that then. So whilst you're organising that, I'll kick off. So that's the yes. Okay then. So yeah. So next case we'll look at. So Linda and Roger Scarberry, who were one of the couples in the first sighting we covered, or the earlier one we covered. They had another sighting, and they claimed to have seen the Mothman on several occasions after their initial sighting. So
was he just trying to stop him having? Was he just trying to stop him having premarital sex? Is that what it was?
Could be, or maybe he wanted to join in. Maybe the plumbing was broken, and he turned up with his bag, and the screen went a bit fuzzy because it's a video you got off your mate and it's been passed around. So. But anyway,
a Mothman with his wings would be very good for pizza delivery, with or without extra sausage.
And instead of grinding black pepper on it, he could just sprinkle some of his dust on it, and it probably taste the same. Yeah, it'd be nice. Nice and spicy.
No one's ever done a line of it. How do you know?
Well, I have. and a gerbil as well.
Fortean times where we ask the questions no other cryptid show dares to ask.
Is that a Richard Gere reference? He was in the film.
It's a few people. I think Richard Gere did it. Mark Almond. No, he did something else, didn't he? Mark Almond.
Yeah.
But no, these rumours do. David Bowie did the same as what Mark Almond did. So that rumour applies to a few people. The Pet Shop Boys. Well, they got their name from that, didn't they? That's why they called them.
Get out of town, really?
Is that the film where he put a moth up his arse? Richard Gere.
There's a gerbil up his arse, and it wasn't a film. It was in real life.
Wasn't that Ozzy Osbourne?
No, he had a bat, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bit the head off a bat.
He had a bat before it was cool.
So anyway, we'll get on with this. It was in December of 1966 when England won the World Cup. They spotted it on the roof of their house. So Mothman was actually on the roof of their house doing something up there. So the house that they lived at the time, the roof slanted down outside of their bedroom window, and the creature looked like it was sitting down. Its wings were wrapped around itself, and it looked like it was trying to keep warm. And the creature looked into the bedroom window as if it was curious. So if you can imagine looking out of your bedroom window, and you're met with that slight slide there, the slide we got up there, that's what was looking in at the people.
I've never been able to look out of a bedroom window after dark since I watched Salem's Lot when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I read that when I was 15.
Oh, just let me in. Horrible.
Put the blinds down after that.
Yeah.
Also, Bigfoot, they do this as well. They look into people's windows. There's been reports of that going on. So again,
Parkers.
Yeah. Looking through the window. The pleasuring themselves while looking through the window.
He went a bit further. Bigfoot and the Hendersons. He basically became part of the family, you know. I thought that was a bit rude.
The good films, the good Bigfoot films are from the 70s. There's quite a few of them. They're really good. There's some really good films there. Bigfoot and the Hendersons is a comedy, isn't it? So, check out the Bigfoot films from the 70s. They're the interesting ones. Anyway, should we go on with this tale? So with the creature looking into the couple's bedroom window, so this kind of activity occurred on the same roof over 3 nights, and as a result, turned the couple's mother into a nervous wreck. So he did her head in, but obviously, if he kept appearing, you would try and take a photo, wouldn't you? If you were they
Well,
didn't.
I was going to say by the second night, you really should do something about it.
Yeah.
Letting it continue.
Put some kind of repellent there, something like that.
Mothballs.
But
Moth footballs.
yeah. I'm trying to think of one. I can't think of one though. Something balls.
Yeah.
Anyway, never mind. Mothballs. Mothman's
Cancel.
balls. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't work. Anyway, so I'll move on. At this time, a lot of dogs started to go missing in the area, and a lot of people blame this on the Mothman.
A Chinese restaurant opened up in the area. I think
Or a
we can
kebab shop.
explain that. I think we can explain that one.
Yeah, so yeah, he had a taste for dogs by the look of it. So that was his main diet. So yeah, that was a scary encounter. Looking through the window, they'd already seen him. So maybe they were haunted by him. We don't know at this stage. We'll look at it soon. But if anyone's got any questions, ask. Otherwise, it's over to Dom.
Yeah, I have a question. No.
What? I have a check. Why do children catch cancer?
I was going to say, I hate dogs. I prefer cats, so I'm kind of like him.
You like him for killing dogs?
Yeah. I love watching dogs being killed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Anyway, what were we saying?
What, boiled alive, that kind of thing.
Well, we're going back. So we're about sort of half a year later from all the crazy first sightings. May 17th, 1967, two women were driving near the TNT area about 10:30 p.m. They described seeing two bright red lights on a shadowy form high up in a tree just off the road. Suddenly, a big red light approached the tree, and the form rose up and disappeared into it. The big red light then took off to the north. So this was some sort of alien ship.
It does sound like Mothman could be an alien, couldn't he?
Yeah,
I have a question. It's a bit late. I've just realised it. Weren't there some Men in Black sightings attached to the case? Are you going to talk about that, or am I jumping the gun?
Yeah, we've got a little bit on that on a case related to this. We'll cover shortly. But yeah, there were Men in Black. Visiting the people to shut them up. But but they always do in these cases. Always reports of Men in Black if there's a popular alien case.
Well, they don't actually shut anyone up because everyone goes, "I was visited by Men in Black." Then
exactly, yeah. They can tell you. You can tell people the Men in Black have visited you, but you can't tell them why they visited you. So you can say, "I saw the Men in Black. Yes, they came and visited me." Oh yeah, what's that for? Can't tell you. So there we go. That's how
this
it
is
works.
sounding suspiciously like a Russian proverb. You can always tell you when a Men in Black has visited you, but never why.
That's the way it works.
Yeah.
So anyway, Dom, over to you again.
Yeah. Well, anyway, as I was saying, I went to this funeral once. I didn't have a suit, so I called in the Men in Black, and they gave me one of their spares. Anyway, in November 1967, four men claimed to have an encounter with a giant grey figure with red eyes whilst hunting in the Chief Cornstalk Park in West Virginia. Yeah. I mean, it seems a lot of grey and a lot of red eyes.
It is, and you get a lot of reports about the same thing. This is the interesting thing, and we've only covered a few of the reports tonight. There's a lot more. There's over 100 apparently, and it was all in a short period of time as well. So there should be something in this case.
Yeah. Well, I mean, next we have the Silver Bridge disaster.
Let's just go to the next slide if we
You're
could.
on the next slide, yeah.
Next slide.
Yeah, let's go.
And that was on the December, so this is about a year later. Okay, Silver Bridge in Point Pleasant collapsed and 46 people were killed. The incident gave rise to the legend and connected the Mothman sightings to the bridge. So
Well, he didn't do a very good job of warning people, did he? He didn't. He didn't. He
Well-
didn't say anything. Didn't even try sign language. Didn't even write a note, did he?
Well, maybe he thought maybe he's so arrogant. He thought his mere presence would warn them, but he didn't realise that we humans are a lower species, and we don't know what the fuck's going on. You know?
Yeah, when he started to appear, an 89-year-old man with a heart condition died, and it was all blamed on the Mothman. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So obviously he became like this, as a bad omen, and
Because the bridge was in Point Pleasant, and Mothman, the sightings of Mothman led up to this, and they kind of died down afterwards, and sort of interesting to connect the two.
And the next slide has a plaque of the
Is that the plaque?
collapse.
Yeah.
Right, that one's up.
The plaque.
Yep.
Slide 9.
It's up. 9A. I'm on it.
9A. Oh, sorry. 9A. We should be on. That's the one, yeah. So there you go. There's a plaque commemorating the deaths of that which did happen. So the thing with this, though, obviously, there was other news to report after this happened. So Mothman sightings died down a bit after that. But carry on, Dom.
Yep. So basically, after disappearing from Point Pleasant, Mothman sightings began to spring up across the world and seem to be in some way connected to tragic events, though no one knows if it causes the events or merely appears as a warning. In one case, its appearance actually saved lives. September 10th, 1978, in Freiburg, Germany, probably pronounced that right, yeah.
Yes,
A group of miners were blocked from entering a mine by a creature with glowing red eyes and large black wings. So the classic image again. It
But
came
did the
to be
Yanks
known.
like the dopey cousin of Mothman? Was he like the useless Mothman? Was he?
Well, the budget Mothman.
Well, he's the apprentice. He was the apprentice Mothman, weren't he? That's why.
That's
what
like the Bollywood version
Mothman.
of popular film. Came to be known as the Freiburg Shrieker due to its screech that chased the miners out of the mine, which collapsed an hour later and would not have most likely killed the miners had the creature not prevented them from entering. So, scare these away from a mine before it collapsed.
So Mothman does good as well as bad.
Apparently.
Well, I mean, that sounds like he was, because he's saying he precedes, visitations preceded omen or ill fortune. But in this case, the ill fortune, he managed to save them from it. So there's still ill fortune, the mine collapsed, but fortunately with nobody in it.
I think he made a mistake. I think he made a mistake. He wanted to kill the miners, but got it wrong. He didn't think it through properly and ended up saving them.
Out instead of it.
Yeah. I mean, that was his house. Did that just kill his wife and kids when the mine collapsed? You know.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing. So,
anyway, moving swiftly on. In the year before the Chernobyl incident, there was numerous claims of a creature matching the Mothman's description flying around the plant. There were also reports of witnesses plagued with strange phone calls and nightmares. After the explosion on April 26, 1986, several people claimed that a huge black bird was flying around the smoke.
So he was behind Chernobyl as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Mothman did it.
Why shouldn't you wear Russian underpants?
Chernobyl fallout.
My routine's ruined tonight, isn't it? Anyway.
Yeah, Evan's
Oh, sorry, I especially like that one. So yeah.
Yeah, I got some other jokes, but I better not tell you them. So
what I heard was it's like, why should you not wear shorts in Ukraine? Chernobyl fallout.
Same as mine, but different intro, same punchline.
Yeah.
So the beginning is there, and we've borrowed the same end, so we can adapt it to various other jokes.
Gotta
Anyway,
watch out for that Ukrainian fallout.
it
I mean,
was. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Are we going to comment on the appearance there? You think it might be something to do with radiation sickness, as an example?
Well, they do say that Chernobyl happened. It was 30 odd years ago, wasn't it? And what?
Oh, so does it predate it? Yeah.
No, this is after. This is 1986. So it's after the main sightings. But but Chernobyl happened in 1986. We should have had a superhero by now. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So maybe Mothman was it. But
well, I was watching a documentary the other day about people that had moved back into the area because they had no choice. They're literally shunned by the people in the villages where they moved to. So they've moved back there.
That's because they had an orange glow about them. That's why.
Yeah. Well, they were saying that the animals have actually adapted to the radiation.
The mushrooms certainly have. There's black mushrooms there which are absorbing the gamma radiation and using it for energy.
Makes sense.
I mean, it's incredible if you think about it, because gamma radiation's ionizing. It destroys cells because of how small the wavelengths are. But I suppose these mushrooms, they are short-lived enough that they can absorb it and do something useful with it.
And it was the gamma rays that was responsible for the Incredible Hulk as well. Yeah. David Banner overloaded with them, and that happened. Very foolish man.
What you're saying basically is we should harvest these mushrooms to reverse engineer them to turn cancer patients into superheroes.
Yeah, I'll be up for that. I'm sure there's a few cancer patients be like, oh, go on then. It's not as if I was going to live much longer.
And a superhero would be handy at the moment with all the knife crime in London, that kind of thing. So we need one now.
The deaths from the demonetized virus.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know where else that virus is in New York, which leads me on.
Good intro.
Look at that. New York. To save it. Look at that.
Yeah, okay.
I like that.
The David Seaman podcasting. He just managed to tip it around the bar.
Last bit here. The creature allegedly appeared once again on September 11th, 2001, flying near the Twin Towers. Witnesses claim it could be seen flying parallel to the second plane as it hit the building. These witnesses claim to have been silenced by men in black who warned them to keep quiet.
Didn't do a very good job, did they?
So Mothman was responsible for the 9/11 attacks then. Yeah. Not Bin Laden. So the Americans got the wrong man, didn't they?
This Mothman's standing like a real rascal.
I know, he's a bugger, isn't he? He'll do anything, won't he? But yeah,
all this mischief he's up to.
Yeah. But I've seen the September 11th footage, and I didn't see a Mothman flying parallel to the second plane.
No, I don't remember.
But from the angle that it was shot at, it could have been covered by the plane. So yeah.
Is that the cope? No, it was the other side of the plane.
Could have been hanging onto the wing, maybe.
Yeah, it was the other side of the plane. The side you don't see.
He was up to no good as usual, though. So
yeah.
So there we go. So that's basically what we've covered there. There is over 100 sightings, so obviously we couldn't cover all of them tonight, but we've gone through the main evidence of the Mothman there, and there's quite a lot of evidence there, isn't there?
So is he bad, or is he just like Frank Spencer?
I think he's a bit of a wanker, and he just wants to go around causing trouble. So, Frank Spencer was a good laugh.
Frank Spencer didn't mean it. He was just trying to help out, wasn't he?
I don't know. He could have been. Maybe Mothman.
Frank Spencer, the comedian.
Yeah.
No, you're thinking of Frank Skinner. I'm talking about Frank Spencer. You know, some others do have them. Hobbit.
Oh, that.
Condor Man.
I mean, this Mothman, he does sound quite antisocial.
And I think he does go downstairs in roller skates as well, and then hang on to the back of a bus and get dragged around like that.
Rascal.
Yeah.
I mean,
Scallywag.
if you're like some kind of panty sniffing weirdo, and you had to choose a creature to be your avatar, you'd choose a moth, wouldn't you?
I resent this implication.
Yeah. Pretty good. So anyway, there we go. That's the case. Should we now move on and look at possible explanations?
Yep.
All right then. Next slide, please.
Next slide.
Let's see what slide on. So, yeah. So anyway, hang on. I've got just switch the light on. 1 moment.
Light on the matter.
Don't you look track the Mothman?
I was in the dark. Yeah, I was in the dark. Sorry.
You can track the Mothman. Turn the light off, quick.
He should be here soon, so we'll see. Maybe he stood on my roof. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay. So there we go. I don't want to. I'm not spoiling things here, but we've got to consider things. So, Mothman is aerodynamically unsuitable for flight. A creature larger than a man would weigh more than 200 pounds and would therefore require a 10-foot wingspan to take off. And Mothman wasn't.
Is that allowing for hollow bones like a bird?
He could have hollow bones.
Yeah.
But he did seem very sort of physical, and it was basically a man with wings was what was reported. So you've got to take it. If he's got that kind of structure, he's unlikely to have hollow bones. But here is a creature here. So let's have a look at this one. So this is the sandhill crane, which is common in that part of the world.
Do you want this one?
Or no, this one. We got a close up here, so we'll move on to the next one in a minute. As you can see with this one, the red eyes. He's got that red bit around the eyes, and it could be mistaken. The red eyes, the glowing red eyes, if you see it from a distance. So, and if we just move on to the next slide there, we can see.
So this is the
a full length. That's right. Yeah. So again, so. If you were to see that creature,
doesn't look like a man with a. But it doesn't look like.
It does, but if it's in the dark, these kind of long neck creatures. No, but if you look at that can probably lower its neck into its body.
Yeah.
It's in the dark. You don't get a good look at the bottom half, so the legs, the skinny bird legs, there, maybe they're out of view, and you could mistake something like that, especially if you don't want to hang around, especially if you're thinking, oh god, there's a monster, I better get out of here.
If mum finds out I'm doing dirty stuff with my boyfriend, I've had it.
Yeah. let's get out of here, Shaggy. So
yeah.
So there we go. So anyway, let's just look at a little bit more of the deconstruction. So some have even hypothesized that a crane was perhaps deformed, especially if it made its home in the TNT area. It has been suggested that leaked toxic materials from the TNT area got into the neighboring wildlife preserve and produced such a mutant. So it could be that could be a good explanation. A deformed creature again coming out of the TNT area, with the military had been injecting it with all sorts to see what happens, and it just escaped and caused havoc about the place. So another Point Pleasant legend states that the creation of the Mothman was nothing more than the work of a very committed prankster who went so far as to hide in the abandoned World War II mutations plant where many of the sightings occurred. So
it's a bit of string and some planks of wood. Then.
Obviously, if someone's dressed in a costume, they still would be able to fly, would they? So that would so the fly-in sightings, that can't be explained by a prankster. someone jesting about.
I'm liking the idea that it's someone who's just escaped from an asylum and he really thinks he's a superhero.
Would make sense. It could be Peter Sutcliffe escaping from his asylum, isn't it? He was in Broadmoor for 30 years, wasn't it?
Who was it that was in Broadmoor? Disliked him.
There was Ronnie Cray was there, wasn't he? Ronnie Cray. I think those two didn't get on. I don't think anyone.
It was someone else because they had a real ding dong, didn't they?
Ian Huntley disliked him.
No, it was one of the old school murderers, weren't it? I think.
You muppet, you slag.
Bronson. It weren't Bronson, was it?
I'm not sure, but I know he was there at the same time as Ronnie Cray, and they didn't get on. But I don't think anyone would get on with him, would they? So he lost an eye in a fight. Someone attacked him, and his eye.
The thing about gravediggers is they tend to be fairly antisocial.
No, it was the Moors murder, weren't it? The Moors murderer, Brady and Thingy didn't like each other. They sniped at each other all the time, didn't they?
Yeah.
That's because the feds got to them.
He's dead now, anyway, so that's good news for everyone. But yeah, so that's that possible explanation, but not a definite explanation. So Mothman could still exist, but the Sandell crane could well be responsible for some of the sightings. Let's move on to the next slide and have a look at that one.
That's an owl, isn't it?
Owl, yeah. So again, owls could explain some of the sightings. Glowing red eyes, large wingspan, makes an owl a possible candidate for some of them.
Also, I learned an owl fact. The great horned owl is in West Virginia, and its eyes are only slightly smaller than humans. So there.
Good fact. Around the TNT area, though, in the TNT area, it was a popular place for owls to nest as well in that area. So yeah. But as there's been over 100 sightings, not everyone's seen an owl. So I'm going to be. Let's go to the next slide. We'll just have a quick look at that one. And now we've got slide 13.
There we go.
Good. So there's just a brief drawing there of half Mothman, half owl, just to show how something like that could be mistaked for a bird. But obviously, the closer up sightings, you would know if it's an owl.
It kind of looks like the that original like really shit drawing that man drew.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's
bubbles. Yeah. It looks like a more filled-in version of that. So.
Obviously, the Mothman half is based on that drawing, which is
just look like an owl-like creature.
And from a distance, if an owl is on a branch, obviously it's going to look taller than it actually is. Big wingspan, glowing eyes, head down into the chest. You could mistake it, and probably some people have been, but not over 100, of course. So that's an interesting suggestion. So let's just go forward a slide, and we shall look at another explanation.
Looks like a woman. Oh, aliens, Grace.
Alien. He could be an alien, couldn't he? He was spotted that one time going into a UFO and flying off.
I've seen an area. I've seen a report before of an alien with wings. There's like an angel alien. I've seen one before. Yeah.
You've seen one.
No, I haven't seen one. I've seen a report.
Oh, right. I was going to say.
I've seen a report.
I can tell that the alien on the right is a female. I don't know why I can tell that. I just know it. You get me?
She's going to complain to your manager, look.
Well, the one on the right is obviously in charge, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well,
you just said that one said to the other, just you hang around in the back room. I'll do all the talking here.
The other one's the kind of the kid at school that she just said, I'm not going to date you, dude.
Yeah, and take his dinner money off him.
Yeah,
and throw his coat up a tree for good luck.
Throw his fucking
kick the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not Mothman at all. It's aliens throwing coats in trees.
Yeah, the alien bullies.
Yeah.
So there's a quick. That's basically what we've got as some suggestions we can just throw about. Blue sky a bit. They're just a few suggestions, not necessarily they are the Mothman, but possible explanations. Dom, you're going to show us a couple of photos there.
Yeah,
this is the hard evidence. The hard evidence is coming up. After seeing this, you're going to believe.
Yeah.
So,
This is it. No, if you show this next slide.
Slide 15.
Slide 15. Let's go. There you go.
Look at that. So there we've got. Actually, Dom, it's you, isn't it? You do that.
Yeah. Well, this is the Silver Bridge from the Silver Bridge incident where 46 million people died. 46 people died, and there's you can clearly see Boba Fett there, right on the edge.
It's an interesting photo of the Silver Bridge. This because as you can see, Mothman's on the Silver Bridge. The only trouble is that isn't the Silver Bridge. So here's your first mistake with that one.
Rookie mistake.
My initial impression of it was that the disaster was happening live on the right end of the screen, but that's just like some trees and shit, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's just look closely at the picture a second.
Yeah.
So you can see the four. You've got where the bridge where it goes to rises there. You can see if on the bit nearest to us, you've got those two black bits of the bridge on the top sticking up.
Yeah.
Can you see those? If you go to the other bridge where the Mothman is, in this case, the Mothman is one of those things that fell off, and then a workman arrived, put it back where it was, and that's what happened there.
So is that like?
That's what it is. You see?
Is that a gargoyle of a guy in a jetpack with a sniper rifle?
doing it. Oh, he's doing a Hitler salute, isn't he?
Bad optics.
The Mothman was a Nazi as well as all of his other. It makes sense when you look at the trouble he's caused, doesn't it? So do that as well. But yeah, that's actually what it is. So yeah, it does look like a kind of an angel thing, doesn't it? But it's not very clear, and that's what we've got there. It's all in the mind, right? Anyway, back over to you.
Yeah. Oh, there's another slide here.
Let's have a look at that one. Yeah.
16 now. Yeah.
Here's the man himself in action.
Ooh. That's actually pretty. The ones on the right look like a straight up bird, though, don't they?
Well, if you consider that these were taken in 2016, the whole Red Bull thing was going on back then, still, wasn't it? So
gives you wings.
Yeah.
The thing with the one on the left, though, if you look at it, his legs are probably twice the length of his upper torso.
Well, his wings are tiny. His wings are probably like...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Would never carry that weight. But we don't know what that is.
I have myself muted. Just to explain for those in the audience, the Red Bull event, there was the flying man where people would strap wings to themselves and jump off a ledge into the water.
That was the Brighton Pier. Was it Brighton Pier that they used to do that?
They do it all over. I think it kind of rotates around them all, doesn't it?
Yeah. I saw one in Brighton. I saw one in Brighton Pier. They were doing that, like jumping off the edge of the pier with a flying device, trying to fly. And then what turned up was a pantomime horse that just ran off the edge of the pier. It was students probably mucking about for Rag Week or something. But
well, that's quite that's how things just go sometimes. Like, for example, what I reckon, the left side of this picture, that's a dude jumping off with some wings, and his tights are unraveling and around his ankles.
Or he looks like actually he's got those things that disabled sprinters have on their legs. Those the bouncy things. Yeah.
I was going to say it looks like somebody's just lobbed someone with polio off with a pair of wings, doesn't it?
Like the ankle things, like the alleged murderer guy.
I can't think of anything else that looks like.
Yeah,
But obviously, we need to know more about this photo. Where it was taken, who took it, what's their background, are they a bit of a
well, you
joker?
need to see the
Have they
full
been
picture because that's obviously zoomed in, isn't it?
Yeah. I was going to also put in some Thunderbird pictures, but I forgot. So we can look at that another time, maybe. There's some good photos of that. So yeah, so there we go. That's the only photos we have, isn't it? He wasn't very photographed, Mothman. Not like other cryptids.
When happy being filmed, was he?
He hated it. Very camera shy. So yeah, so there we go. That's all the photos we got, though. So yeah, we're a bit thin on hard evidence this time. Not like last time. We had lots of. Yeah.
To me, it seems like it's a very obscure cryptid, but I've looked into it, and there's a lot. There's that Richard Gere film, and there was like a film 10 years before, and one 10 years before that, and there's been a lot of there's been a lot out there.
It's an enduring mystery, isn't it?
Yeah,
and I think it's one that will never be explained. I hope I'm wrong, but it's been a long time now since he made his first appearance, and is never been some hard evidence, some scat, something like that is what we need. A blood sample or a dead body, anything like that,
or footprints.
Yeah, footprints.
Have you seen that thing? Analyzed. Yeah, it was always bears, basically. Bears.
Yeah. You're breaking up a little bit, Dom. Can anyone else hear Dom?
Yeah, I lost most of that gag.
Yeah, maybe just reset your headset a bit again, Dom. You're going a bit robotic on us.
Yeah.
You've gone all R2D2 again. Or is it C3PO? Anyway, all right then. So that's the pictures we got. So not many, but that's the best we could do. So what we'll do, I think, next is we'll look at Point Pleasant, the home of Mothman, and what's happened in the town since these sightings have happened. Let's go to the next slide, if we could.
Slide.
Yeah, slide 17. Mothman. So a bit like Loch Ness, whereas Mothman now in the Point Pleasant area has become a bit of a tourist attraction, and this what we see here is a statue of Mothman they've got in the town. I don't think he actually looked. He doesn't really look like that. What they've got there, the wings are bigger. He's got a head. He hasn't got the glowing eyes, but yeah. So that's there if you want to go and see a statue of Mothman, and. If you want to move to the next slide, if we could, slide 18. Another look at the impact in the town. So, every year there's an annual Mothman festival in the town, a bit like a beer festival. There we go. There we go. We can see the beer tents there, and someone having a picture taken with the moth. So yeah, as you can see, the town is using this to make a bit of money, and they do get a lot of visitors. Let's quickly skip to the next slide, if we could. Slide 19.
Next slide. Open.
Yep. So there's lots of fun and games at the festival going on, and you can actually meet Mothman in person. And there we go. There he is. There he is with his fans. Hey, big teeth. That's him there. So. She's enjoying it, isn't she? To the right, having a great time. There's some guy doing kung fu in a cowboy hat just behind him. But if you look over his shoulder, there's a man in black. Can you see that?
Ooh.
So yeah, there. So they're all there. Let's go and have a quick look at the next slide.
So that's not real Man in Black, because
no, it's kind of a sci-fi festival. So you turn up.
I was going to say the men in Black, which I know of, they got the Ray-Ban shades on. They're very fond of that brand.
Maybe that guy was going to a Madness gig and he got lost on the way and ended up.
Baggy trousers.
They're breaking up, Dom. If you reset your headset, you're still doing speaking like a robot there. But anyway, there we go. There's the So yeah, the festival itself, I think, is more of a sci-fi thing. You know, they need a bit of meat on the bone. So there we've got the guys who live with their mothers and live with their mums, and they don't know how to speak to women. So
the roboting tends to just be a bandwidth issue, and it usually clears itself up.
I should be back with us soon, hopefully. Let's just go to the next slide. Have a look at that. So that's the one. We'll have a look at that. See, you can buy your own Mothman. So yeah, so they're cashing in a bit on the legend. Even if you don't believe it, you go there, you buy a key ring, whatever. So and just quite a.
It's like Roswell, isn't it? It's their version. It's their thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but Mothman wasn't a weather balloon. Mind you, it might not have been a weather balloon, but we could discuss that at a later date.
Weather balloon that caught the reflection of Venus and swamp gas was there as well.
Yeah, but there's various stories from that conflict each other. But anyway, this one here, obviously you can buy your own Mothman there. You can see nice diverse range of Mothman. You can buy there's a black one there and white one, obviously. And so, yeah, you can, all inclusive. That is just good, meeting their quotas. So let's just quickly go on to the next slide.
Mothman pancakes. Oh,
here we go.
They'll dust. They just give you the powder, do they?
That sounds a bit dry to me. I wouldn't want to eat. But there is a Mothman pancake eating contest as well. They have in the town as well. So whoever eats the most pancakes gets a free pancake. So that's the reward for it. Let's just nip forward as well. This is just a bit, a few photos of what goes on in Point Pleasant. So just nip on to slide 23.
Mothman Museum.
The Mothman Museum again. You pay to get in. They got the gift shop. So yeah, they're gonna rip you off. But yeah, not been to this museum, but it looks quite good. So I've been to the Loch Ness Museum. That's good. Yeah, Loch Ness. But yeah, so there we go. So you've got that museum there. Let's just move forward a slide. So no one is going to throw in a gag here. No one's nicked it tonight. So I've been a bit unlucky tonight with my gags. So just move on.
The gerbil prophecies.
There we go. So that was in 2002. This came out, and I remember seeing the poster. I thought that would be good, and then I saw Richard Gere was in it. And I was thinking, well, it's not. He's more of a romantic lead, isn't he? Rather than
they kind of bottled it on the Mothman, didn't they?
Yeah, it was. I wanted to see the Mothman, and it was more of a psychological thing, wasn't it? Psychological type.
I think you're supposed to believe that he was having a breakdown or something, weren't you?
Yeah, it wasn't very good anyway. But starring Richard Gere, and
Speaking of owls, I was having a look at the largest in the world, Blakiston's fish owl. Although it's in Russia, China, and Japan, it's actually the wingspan is 6.5 feet.
It's a fair size, isn't it?
Yeah.
Taller than most men, but they tend to say Mothman had a 10-foot wingspan.
Yeah,
but I suppose you could, so it could be mistaken for a regular creature. But then you can say that about any cryptid, can't you?
Yeah.
But it's the close-up sightings which are the ones which, and if those people are telling the truth, then it has to be real. But you can't mistake. If you got Mothman looking into your bedroom window, then
I don't think you can really mistake that for anything else, can you?
Yeah. But anyway, the film, I was thinking Richard Gere, maybe a little hint, starring Richard Gere, maybe a hint that if you want to see Mothman, then you need to smoke some good gear. Good gear. Richard Gere, good gear. Yeah. All right, let's move on then. Yeah, and you need some good gear to smoke. No, to see the Mothman. Yeah, so that's the best I can do on that bit anyway. So there we go. Really, that just basically wraps up our Mothman mystery tonight. So hope you enjoyed that. I'll do a little bit more on the UK Mothman in a moment. But what do we think on Mothman then? Anyone? Do we believe?
Well, I mean, I believe there's a lot of people cited the creature.
Hmm.
I
But why
believe
does he have to
something
be so
happened.
camera shy?
Something happened, didn't it?
Something happened.
I think that's about all you can say. Something happened there, can't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And the sky is a lot bigger than Loch Ness, so this one's much harder to disprove, isn't it? So it could be anywhere.
It's just as hard to prove as disprove, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Dom reminds us it's Moth Person.
Moth person, yes.
I thought you said they were persons of moth, aren't they? Hobbit.
Oh, yeah. But people of Moth.
People of moth.
He's gender neutral moth thing.
Moth
neutral.
Person.
Yeah.
Moth Person.
He self-identified as a moth.
Yeah.
We all have to go along with it, otherwise we'll be in trouble.
Why can't we just accept him?
Just accept him for who he is.
Yeah, exactly. Don't discriminate against him. Just because he's a moth, leave him alone, all right?
Yeah.
Well, if he didn't identify as Mothman, what if he identifies as the Loch Ness Monster? Therefore, the Loch Ness Monster is real. Hashtag believe moth people.
Believe moth
yes.
people.
He sued his employer because they wouldn't identify him as a moth.
Yeah.
Took him to court and won.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, that's Mothman for you. So if you've got, if no one's got anything to add, what we'll quickly do is move on to the next mystery, and then we'll wrap up. Yeah.
Sounds
Everyone
good to
in
me.
on that?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Then. So, okay, English Mothman. We've got our own Mothman called the Cornish Owlman from Cornwall, obviously. So it's a similar cryptid to Mothman. And it made its appearances in a place called Mornan in Cornwall. The sightings took place around a graveyard in Mornan Church in the mid-70s. Let's just move on to the next slide, if we could. Slide 26. So there's a picture of the church. And once you've got a little look at that, just move on to the next slide, and we'll have a look at the graveyard as well. See if that... See if we get frightened by that. So there's the church there, pretty standard English church. But nice, and it looks there, it's got the Cornish flag. The black flag with the white cross on it. There's the graveyard.
Yeah.
And then, what I'll do is tell you of the sighting. So, first sighting of Owlman occurred on the 17th of April, 1976, by June and Vicky Mellin, aged 9 and 12. They said that they saw a birdman hovering over Mornan Church. They went to the police station where they were interviewed separately and described the same thing. The girls were so frightened that they cut their holiday short. So, this going to the police station and reporting this, is that... I don't know if the police would sit you down in separate rooms and take statements off you.
That's not standard child procedure, though, is it? That's not
Plus
what
murderers.
Children don't normally go straight to the police. Do
Plus, there's murderers to catch as well. So, are they going to mess about with these kids?
No, there's people out without their dog walking license, isn't there, that need to be arrested.
Quite true, yeah.
Well, to sim for the police, if I can for a bit, they do have to write down all reports that come into them, no matter how fanciful they are. And I suppose they interviewed them separately to see if their stories matched up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but come on. But yeah, I suppose so, yeah, just to make sure that they were getting it right. But anyway, I'll go to the next slide. Let's just have a quick look at that.
Yeah.
Slide 28. So what we've got is a drawing by one of the witnesses, June Mellin.
So he had little moth trousers on and little moth winkle pickers.
He's got...
He's got little moth winkle
he was
pickers,
more...
isn't he?
Maybe he was mod man. Because he got his winkle pickers as drain pipes. I bet he's got a Vespa as well. And
the sort of triangular mouth section, I think, is interesting.
Yeah.
the elusive triangle. Yes, and
What year was this again? 70s, so it couldn't have been.
This was the mid-70s, yes, 1976. So.
Oh right, so this I was going to say it could have been Star Wars inspired because that face looks a bit Darth Vader, but this is at least a year before that.
Maybe they had a psychic premonition of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And then projected it onto this, so it could have been that.
There was some strange stuff with Star Wars. I mean, they saw Aegyptus in the Death Star before Aegyptus was even known. What was it? The Pioneer of the Voyager probes, which first photographs the moons of Saturn.
Yeah. And Chewbacca, that's clearly a Bigfoot, isn't it? That's a Bigfoot in space.
Yeah, it does look a bit, doesn't it?
Isn't it? That's what it is. Yeah, it has to be.
I never thought of that.
Yeah, obviously, and yeah. Anyway, this is just shit, isn't it? The drawing. There's like well, she was 12, so that's pretty poor for a 12-year-old, isn't it? It's not great. But anyway, that's what she saw. So
it's better than any drawing I could do at 12 or now. Yeah, I'm terrible at drawing. As people will know when they play the scribble
description would
game.
look like that now. I don't know about when I was 12.
The trousers have just got leg bits, haven't they? They haven't got the bit. The legs just go straight up into the suit jacket there. So he must have had long legs. Maybe the legs went right up to the neck. And but anyway, okay. Let's look at another instance. So, July 1976. Two 14-year-old girls named Sally Chapman and Barbara Pelly encountered what they described as a major owl with pointed ears, as large as a man, with gleaming red eyes and pincer-like claws. Let's look at that one. Let's see how bad she was at drawing.
It's the same black triangle. You see that?
Yeah. So obviously these two sets of people are seeing the same thing. So that was what done by what?
On this time.
No, he's got what are those things he's got on there? Kind of.
I assume winkle pickers is a type of like seafood.
No, they're shoes. I bet very pointy shoes.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
So pointy that you can pick winkles with them. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what they saw. Very similar sighting to the first one there. Interesting, he was seen by two young girls as well. So the first sighting was seen by that, and second sighting. Let's look at the next slide. Yeah, that one there was done by Sally Chapman, one of the girls. The second one was done by the other girl who was with her at the time. So let's just look at the next diagram.
Those ears. The head looks similar to the first one, doesn't it?
And this one as well. Again, it's not a very grown-up drawing, but they all are seeing the same creature. All three drawings are similar, and they got the pinchers on this one as well. So it's an interesting. He was maybe a sort of combination creature, owl and crab. Where he's got his crab man as well in the lower half.
Unless they're trying to draw like bird claws. I mean, bird claws do look like that, don't they?
Yeah, I suppose they could be.
I find this one interesting because those claws are elongated, whereas in the previous one they were curved. And again, with those watch officers trying to spot the ships with the dazzle armor on and not seeing it, I'm thinking that it's the one with the curved talons that's not what she saw. But of course, she's thinking, well, it looked bird-like, therefore I must draw those. Whereas in this one and the one with the winkle pickers, I think this may be closer to what its feet look like.
Yes. They are similar, and I would think if they're pinchers, then they would open and close. So the previous drawing would have been the pinchers open and this one closed.
Well, it's kind of weird because you got the first one, the second one, and then the third one is like a hybrid of the two almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think this is why these kind of creatures visit communities that are shit at drawing.
Or not quick at getting the camera out.
Or they only visit remedial children. And this is the best they can do. The div kids.
The div kids.
Yeah, we used to call them the A team or the Wendy house. Anyway, long time ago. That was a long time ago. So anyway, let's move on with this. So so further sightings of the Owl Man in the vicinity of the church have been reported in 1978, 1979, 1989, and 1995. So he's been around for a while, but it's not a big area that he's haunting there. So you'd think that he'd be sighted a bit more often, unless he's a supernatural, of course, or something along those lines. But at the time, the Mormon area, Mornan area of Cornwall, where the Owl Man was seen, it was a bit of a hotbed for unexplained phenomena, because in the summer of 1976, there were reports of UFO activity in the area as well. So he could have been an alien, like Mothman may have been. And also, you had the Cornish sea monster, Morgwa, was also reported. So you had three unexplained phenomena going on at one time. So it must have been an exciting place to be, Cornwall, in 1976. So that's what was going on at the time. So let's just move on to the next slide 31.
Yeah.
This is photographic evidence. This is actually a video of Owl Man. I tried to find it online, but I couldn't. So we got this shot here of some creature. There. That's the Owl Man, apparently. Looks like someone in a long overcoat.
Yeah, I can't.
But yeah, exactly. This is the best photo I could find.
I
of
mean,
it.
if you're being generous, you could say like the bits above his head are kind of horns or something.
Horn.
If you're being really generous, but yeah, it's a man in an overcoat.
Yeah, you sound like me now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so that was taken in August 2019. So if it is Owl Man, he's probably still about. So let's. What we'll do now, we'll just look at go through a couple of possible explanations. So if we go on to the next slide, which is what we've got, is an owl itself. So
watch out, Hemi. Too much cynicism, and you'll start to sound like Cappy.
Yeah.
The last thing you want to do is sound like Cappy as well, isn't it? So.
Oh yeah, he's our resident skeptic.
Who is Cappy? Oh right, I was gonna.
He's a friend of ours. He's our resident skeptic.
Yeah.
If we want cold water poured on anything, we give him a shout.
Cool. But anyway, here we go. This is an owl, as you can see. So, could they have mistaken a normal size owl for a big owl? Churches, they're common places for owls to live, and some owls are pretty big. I think this one here, this is called a Eurasian eagle owl, and apparently it's huge. So when it's again, you could, if you've not seen such a creature before, if you're only familiar with small owls, then that one could confuse you, couldn't it? So that's.
Have you got any photographs of an owl with its mouth open? I'm just curious to know how much they'll distend.
Well, do you see the black beak as well, which is something the kids were drawing, weren't they?
And whilst its eyes aren't red, I mean they are orangey. You shine a light in those, and you'll get a good glow back. And in the excitement of the experience, you could say they were red. In fact, they were bright orange. So an easy mistake to make.
And again, I've seen. Been driving home and stuff. I've seen a barn owl. I know it's a barn owl. I don't immediately jump to the conclusion it's a Mothman.
Yeah. Well, it's easily done. All right, what we'll do, we'll just finish off now with another possible explanation. Let's move on to
Darren Brown.
The last. So, a guy called Tony Shields. He lived in that area. He was an artist, musician, and wizard. Was it him and
his mate in a plank?
Yes, possibly. But he's so this guy he's suspected to have performed a hoax and responsible for the Owl Man sightings, and he did have a reputation for hoaxing. And there he is making a woman fly there in that picture. So that's what he is there. Let's just go to the next slide. We'll have another look at the guy.
Well, it's funny the amount of proof you need to prove something is real, but if you say you're hoaxing it, you don't need to provide much proof at all, do you?
Quite true. Yeah, that is the proof. That is the proof, isn't it? So yeah. Oh, there he is again. So he's getting pissed up there. Look
That's
at him.
Now.
Yeah.
Him being tired and emotional.
So.
He looks like a character,
so
doesn't he? He's got a glint in his eye, hasn't he?
He's Irish. He's Irish, and he does.
Oh, there we go.
He does like a laugh. He took the next photo. If you put that one up, he took that photo. We've seen this movie before, hasn't
Yes.
This will look familiar. This is the clear Loch Ness photo, as clear as it can get. But anyway, he took that. So there we go. That's his work. So, and he was also lucky enough to take the following photos as well. If you just go forward to the final slide.
Hold on. Behind it. There we go. Last slide.
So, as I mentioned just now, there was a lot of Fortean activity going on in Cornwall at the time. And apart from taking a photo of the Loch Ness monster, he was also fortunate enough to take two photos of the Cornish sea serpent, which he took those photos as well. So very lucky this guy was in encountering Fortean subjects. That does look like an elephant, doesn't it?
Don't know. I want to say it looks like what's that swimming dinosaur? Plesiosaur?
Yeah, which is the explanation. That's the most common explanation for
Looks like an elephant
sea
to me.
serpents. It does, doesn't it? If you look at the
you've done me now, Ian. That's it. I'm a full-on skeptic now. I don't believe anymore.
Second one, especially elephant.
It is got an elephant shape. The trunk, the head, and then a bit of a back there.
I'll say
anyway,
the bottom one more so because you can see the elephant's head and back and stuff, can't you?
Yeah. And the other one at a slightly different angle. But obviously, it's a silhouette. You can't see any features on there, and also the guy that took it is a bit suspect. So that's what. But this was. But there were other reports of the sea serpent at the time. So there's more to this mystery than just these photos. The interesting thing about this guy, though, Tony Shields, were the reports of the Owl Man tended to come from him. So the witnesses would come to him, tell him what happened, and then he would make it public. So that's a bit suspect as well, isn't it? That he was the one making the reports. And
why would they go to him? Where they just be like, "Oh, you seen the Iron Man? Talk to Tony."
Well, that's the suspicious part, isn't it? Why would they go to him, a nutter in a pub, and tell him the story, so then he could then take it to the papers?
Unless the other ones in the village just bored with it. It's like, oh, we got another Owlman nutter. Yeah, go talk to Tony. You can bore him about it.
Yes. Some explanations that have been suggested as he was a puppeteer as well. So there has been suggestions that he did have a puppet type owl type thing, and he would scare the locals by operating that around the graveyard as if it was a real entity. But there we are. That's the winged entities we've covered tonight. So hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you believe.
You believe?
Well,
we all believe, don't we? We believe, don't we, Hobbit?
There's more evidence here than there is with Loch Ness, and it does leave me up wanting to ask questions. So I for one, I'm grateful for that. Whereas with the Loch Ness one, I was a bit disappointed after seeing the evidence. I never really looked at it before.
The evidence for Loch Ness is easier to debunk, because this, there's no photos or anything to back these things up. Whereas Loch Ness, you can throw a rock into the loch and take a photo and present it as evidence and stuff like that. But yes, so there's some things to ponder over there. Is Dom still there? Or has he passed out? Are you there, John?
Final words,
Yeah.
Don? Do you want some final words?
Yeah. Believe in Mothman. Snort a line of his dust.
You don't
And you
have to
have,
snort a line of moth dust.
If you see Mothman, punch him because he'll just turn into a dust.
Set fire to his wings.
Hey, is Mothman a Nazi? In which case you can punch him. Because that's what you do with Nazis, is you punch them
Yeah,
in the face. Not anywhere else.
yeah.
Yes.
If you do have
maybe-
Mothman hanging around your windows, just turn your lights off. He'll go away. He'll go and bother someone else.
I want him to stay there so I can get a good photo and some video.
Yeah,
And maybe
in your case, put some
tissue
extra light on there.
sample. I want to get a tissue sample as well. So
yeah, if you do see Mothman, turn your lights off and just say that Ian's got all his lights on.
come round my place.
Yeah.
Come round my place. I'll prove you exist, and I'll make $1 million, and you can have a cut in it as well. So
Yeah.
There you go, Mothman. You can have all the not camphor. That's the stuff in mothballs. What do
Have
moths
all the
like?
woolly jumpers you want.
Yeah, there we go. Go
Yeah,
on, Mothman. Let's make a deal.
he's a cool guy.
Right.
He
so,
is a scallywag though. Real mischief
he's a
maker.
bugger.
A real pain in the arse.
He's a proper Frank Spencer, isn't he?
He's a public nuisance, basically. But there we are. Okay, guys, I think we're done. So
I think that's it. Say
Cool.
say night, Dom.
Good
blah,
night.
blah, blah. All right,
Night all.
have a
Bye-bye.
nightcap. Okay, good night.